Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Nami, Mohana Swalpaya, Radha Krishna Prestayati.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Nami, Mohana Swalpaya, Radha Krishna Prestayati.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Haribo Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Haribo Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Haribo Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Om
Prabhupada,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda,
Krishna,
Ananda Paramahamsa,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda,
Krishna,
Ananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Herbal Namaste. Good morning, everyone. So now we'll continue our study program. So I'd like to discuss something here so we can be in a situation in our practice activities we do every day, connected with action, connected with the mind, thinking, feeling, the thoughts in our mind. We should have clarity of our true transcendental nature through the process we are engaging in every day. Because the first effect of chanting the holy names, the Supreme Purifier, is that we will come to the point of realizing our transcendental nature, that I am a different energy from matter. So if you have this understanding theoretically, it must be substantiated, or in a way, in a truest sense, we should be in that world of transcendence. So how will it come? How will it happen? Okay? I'll tell you here the guidance of Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction, how important to have association. Association with the saintly person, association with the spiritual master, not just physically, but be able to come to the point of understanding the truth and applying it in our life. So look at our predicament, all of you here. 24 hours a day, you're in this body, you have the mind, you have the intelligence. You ask yourself, what is your focus? What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Where is it connected to or with? Then, that will determine if you're making progress. So since we have this material body, we are the person inside this body, we are encumbered under the influence of the laws of material nature. It's surmountable. It is a daunting effort we should do, but not by our own power, but rather to be focused in associating with saintly person, especially following the footsteps of someone who is a resident of the spiritual world, Vrindavan. So look closely. You're in your room. In a way, let's put it in summation. You're in this body. This body is your house. Yeah? The windows of your body are the eyes, the ears. These are all windows. Yeah? Like you're inside the house. So, if, for example, through our conditioning, when we come to this world, we are conditioned by the environment. By the environment. By our association. By the sound we hear. Don't you notice that everybody is so attracted to the sound that is the cause of pain? Look at this person. She makes a lot of money. Or this person, he makes a lot of money by passing on activities that the living entity who is in this machine, who did engage in action and now miserable. Yeah? They glorify crime. They glorify what is perverted. And we're attracted. We're really attracted. Like for example, for a while, it's already history. You know, somebody gets killed. No? And everybody, what happened? You know, why did he do it? Diba? Why did she experience that horrible experience of being shot to death? Why? And everybody's focused there. Because of our association with this world through the senses. And that has made us come to the point of relishing on and on and on, and a direction to find happiness and shelter upon the miseries of this world. We have become sadomasochists. And they make money out of it, you know. Look at the news every day. Look at the news. At the morning, I'm sitting there, listening at radio, FM, AM. No? Look at what they're trying to project. It's about this horrible world, this miserable world. And we begin to like it, you know. We begin to like it. You know. It's just like during the time of the Romans, they have these gladiators and everybody's there, you know. They begin to love to see people fighting, dying, in pain, bloodied. And they're there shouting, death, fight, death. And they bet. They gamble. They find excitement. They're excited. So now, you're inside that body. What excites you? What is your meditation? That you yourself have to answer. Now, if you want another world that is not connected with this horrible, miserable world, that the mind, that our senses, that the windows where we look upon outside and we have identified with, to get out of this misery, because there's no way out. No way out if you are in ignorance of your true identity, because the focus of your search for happiness will be upon this miserable world. Simple as that. You analyze yourself. You look at the window through your eyes, through your ears. You contemplate through sense perception. You're able to see, oh, this will give me happiness. Did it really give you happiness? Or the more you scratch, the more you scratch. And it becomes an itch that annoys you every day. And not only that, the mind begins to torment you. The mind torments you. That's why the process of yoga means union with God, is to transcend this material conditioning. And how will it come? When we are able to use these faculties, the mind, to purify our material conditioning, to be able to taste what is life. Because through false bodily identification, we're trying to find life in dead matter. That's why we're miserable. No satiation, no actual stability, no calmness, because the focus we're focusing is based upon this temporary moving world. No matter what you do. And not only that, the association we do have through how we use this body, how we use the senses, especially the sound we hear. That's why the science of Bhakti Yoga or transcendence or to do the will of God is based upon association. Whom we associate. Because when we associate with individuals who have the same quest, the same goal to do the will of God and following the instruction of the practice of pure devotional service, meaning we're able to use the senses that we have directed upon doing the will of God in harmony, in serving. Because the science we're following and engaging in is based upon God noticing us. God looking at us. Although God is all-knower, He sees everything, but what will make it that He notices us dearly, that He reciprocate in relationship? Because God is relating to everybody. But when we talk about that relationship, it is about the relationship of pure devotional service, pure love. So the practice we do is to be able to come to the point wherein we are engaged fully, unalloyed in devotional service. Because now, it's not our situation. Our focus is upon this world. Our association are with individuals who are also dying, who are lost, who are blind, who use matter as a medium for their satisfaction and security. You read a lot of verses or teachings in the Bible telling us man does not live alone by bread, by every word that comes from the mouth of God. What does a man profit if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? When you speak about the soul, your life, our soul, our love is God. You are the soul. But when you talk about our love, it should be connected in loving reciprocation with someone. But the problem with this material conditioning, the focus is I, me, mine. I love myself. I give gift to myself. I focus and meditate to give satisfaction to myself. Now, if you're in ignorance of your true identity, it will be a slavery of the senses and you will be lost because you will be living a dead life, no life. That's why everything you do, everything you act upon will be the source of your misery. So you analyze yourself. You have 24 hours a day. You have 366. Every year we have 366 days. What do we do? Who are our association? What is our meditation? What is our focus? Will it cause us happiness, liberation, freedom? Where will our attachment be? Because to be able to experience supposedly happiness, there must be action and an experience of joy through those actions. If you identify with the body, then the experience will be sensual enjoyment. But in this predicament, in this entanglement, there is a science wherein we can become free. It begins with hearing, associating. What you hear must be connected with what will purify us. What will purify our intelligence? What we can do to direct the mind? Because your thoughts, your willingness in material contamination is following the desire in the mind. You think you're the body. You look for happiness. You want relationship. You relate with somebody in this world. But that person is not God. And you're not God. You're not self-sufficient. And she's not self-sufficient. Or he's not self-sufficient. You end up together miserable. Because you experience the misery in the mind. It is about envy, jealousy, insecurity. So the world that is being given to us is a world that is transcendental to this material conditioning. Envy, jealousy. Why? Because of our focus and meditation, the mind now has become our enemy. We must make friends with our mind. And how to be the friend of the mind is to be able to come in contact with and engage in the process that will direct the mind to do the will of God, to be in harmony with His love and care. That is the process we're doing. So I'd like to read here. So first, let's recap what I did say. Okay? What I have said or discussed. It is about what we're doing with our body, our meditation, the thoughts in our meditation, our sense perception, because you're the perceiver who sees through the windows of this body, who experience the sense of hearing, through the sense of ear you hear, through the eyes you see, feelings, through the sensual pleasure, the tasting. You are the person inside this body tasting all of this, and you identify with the body. Definitely, your search is to satisfy the senses. You become servant of the senses. But since you are not the body, there's a dilemma, because the search for happiness will never be satiated, will never be satisfied. But that's through association with the representative of God, through understanding the science of karma yoga, understanding that everything belongs to God, through scriptures, everything in Sri Upanishad, first mantra, everything animate or inanimate that is within this universe is owned and controlled by the Supreme Person. Knowing well to whom they belong, one should only use the quota that is allotted to him. So meaning, everything belongs to God. We don't own anything. So now if we try to use this material energy and focus our meditation, our thoughts in contemplating and acting to satisfy what is transcendental, what is different from matter, through this material conditioning of lust and greed, directed by the polluted mind, our enemy now, guiding us. So the thoughts in the mind, the desire, we will follow it. And it's based upon this dead world, then no need to die. You're already dead. Living dead. Understand? That's why your endeavor, you're now sitting down in your room, sitting in this body. You ask, am I alive? Am I born to be alive? Diba? You hear that song, born to be alive. Yes. To be alive where? Are you really alive? So the first factor, the main important quest, the daunting effort we do engage to achieve success is to be able to direct your mind, our mind, not with our own power, but by God Himself. So that is the process of the yoga sound. All we have to do is have association with the representative of that yoga sound, God Himself. Our spiritual master, who is inseparable from God, who is a resident of the spiritual world, who has unalloyed pure devotion to the Supreme Person. So I'll tell you something here that's you can check if you're making progress. If we're making progress. Kasi I'm talking to you a lot of, these teachings. But there must be result. And the result should be an experience of the soul. The meditation of the soul. You, the person. The action of the soul. His heart is about your life. So you ask yourself now, because we are so contaminated with identifying with this body, this false ego of trying to lord and dominate material nature, then we can see how we are lost in this world. So the whole point of this teaching or study program is to be in harmony with the will of God, to do the will of God. That's all. It's not about letting you join this group. It's not about pledging allegiance to Madana, Mohana, or pledging allegiance to Jagad Guru, Siddhaswarupananda, Srila Prabhupada. No, it's not that. It is connecting you, the person, me, with the will of God through His guidance. So the spiritual master is someone who's transcendental to all this material consideration. He's not after followers. He's not after enjoyment of this world. He's not after enjoying beautiful women or material wealth. His only activity is centered around, in harmony, unalloyed, pure devotion, doing the will of God. And what he achieved, he's passing on to us, that all of you here can achieve what have been covered. Because eternally, we are all divine, child of God. We should not be here suffering birth, death, disease, and knowledge. But somehow or other, we're here. Now we must get out of here. And you cannot get out by your own power. Because we are not all powerful. And God's activities, everything that He does is based upon His transcendental love and transcendental happiness, based upon devotional service in loving reciprocation with His unalloyed devotees. So the whole point of what we're doing is to become unalloyed pure devotees of Lord Krishna. To do the will of God, to love God, to meditate upon Him. And He Himself will be the guiding factor, the principle that will substantiate what the saintly person are doing through their life's example. And how is that? I'll tell you. Now, I'll read these pastimes of Lord Krishna through this narrative. First of all, I'll just give two examples, okay? So, it won't be mind-boggling for us. So when Lord Chaitanya, who's none other than Lord Krishna, it's stated through scriptures since time immemorial that in the age of Kali Yuga, the Lord Krishna will come, not as portraying His power, His unlimited glories of power, He will come as a devotee of God to guide us, to teach us how we can be guided to enter that world of pure devotion, to be in that world of unalloyed devotion. So, He comes singing the holy names. So if we study the Christian teaching, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. O my Lord, save me by thy name. I will sing and praise your name. Okay? So, when Lord Chaitanya, through his life's example, he approached a spiritual master. So that's one point, that we must have a bona fide spiritual master. Even though Lord Chaitanya is so, well-renowned, pandit, scholarly, no one can defeat him in Naja. He's very popular. He's a great scholar. He approached a spiritual master, Ishvara Puri, and asked for initiation. And what is initiation? Initiation is a process when the living entity, you and me, thinks or focus or understand without God, without being guided by God, it will be very hard for me to succeed this daunting task to do the will of God, because material nature, the senses are very strong, insurmountable, and I am now like an insect in this spider web. I'm shackled, I'm anchored. My meditation through the senses, unfortunately, have been in the beginning since I was, when, for example, relatively speaking, at the time, you're in the womb of your mother. Your mother is listening already to, to mundane sound. And you come out. So, when you come out, you cry. Wah! Yeah? And the doctor, he's alive. Now, the question is, will your existence, will you really be alive? So, through time, we have been focusing. using the senses, this body, connected with this temporary material world. The sound we hear are the sound that when this person said, you hear that before this guy tells you, binabantayan namin kayo, mag-ingat kayo, di ba? And some people also, they give advices, mga gusto nyong malaman, you wanna know something, that's really, it gives you this, this libido. Let's talk about those individuals in the mountain, young boys, young girls carrying babies, and I'm wondering, I thought they are all their brothers and sisters. But what I found out is that those children that they're carrying, nursing, they're their sons and daughters, and they're only 12 years old. Why is that? And immediately, what's that? Everybody listens to this person. What's that? How did it happen? So the mind's focus, as if there's something there that will really titillate the senses. Para bang there's may anghang pa, may asim pa, di ba? The mind will tell you, tikman mo, may asim pa. O kaya may tamis pa. Pero what they portray is really painful, Somebody got raped, somebody got killed, and eaten alive. And is it really true? And question mark, wonder. And you are now immersed into this world of darkness, where it's zero matter, because the sound is dead matter from this empty person. And you become entangled and focused upon this world. That is, if you did not come and did not have this opportunity to come in contact with Lord Krishna and make a decision to apply the process. So we're like this insect, all our senses are stuck in the spider web, and the spider is just waiting for us, You cannot sing, born free, I can survive, because you're already dead. And death is already there waiting when the spider comes near you, and then let's see if I can suck your blood, Then the inevitable comes, You leave the body. When you leave, you're in anguish. You're in pain because you're separated from the source of your meditation, of your happiness, your attachment to this world. That's why the living entity who's stuck like the insect with how many legs does the fly have? 8. So you pull it, so you, the person, you get so attached in this world, and you leave this body. It's like cutting off all the senses. Your attachment, focus upon the sense. You are in pain. But prior to that, you're already dead, because your meditation is with this dead world. And don't ever ask this question, how? Why? What happened? You're blind. You're ignorant. You don't know the truth. You're not okay. You're not good. Oh, this guy's crazy, right? That's true, because you're gonna face the reality. All of you will pass to the door. The death. Not only that, your body is getting old. That's why every day you look at the mirror. How many lines, Your hair getting white, Your teeth falling down. Your eyes getting blurred. You experience diseases. Now you're diabetic. You have this kidney problem. You're in dialysis. Then you have cancer. It's all about the miseries of this world. And when you're in that meditation of this dead world, no need to shout, no need to think, no need, because no need to struggle, because you're already dead. So this science is being taught to all of us. So when Lord Chaitanya approached his spiritual master, the spiritual master, Isvarapuri, told him, because you're less intelligent, chant the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What are the holy names? So let's see the verdict of the holy names, what it's all about. So Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Person, tells us, O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction upon the living beings. And therefore you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna, Govinda, etc. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. And there is no hard and fast rule for chanting these holy names. O my Lord, you have kindly made approach to you easy by your holy names. But unfortunate as I am, I have no attraction for them. Is it Friday today? Is it Friday? Huh? Friday? Okay. So this, in such a state of mind, one can chant the holy names. Okay? O my Lord, you have so kindly made approach to easy by your holy names. But unfortunate as I am, I have no attraction for them. So he's putting himself as an ordinary person. We have no attraction to the holy names. But my instructing spiritual master is Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, the dearmost spiritual master of our initiating spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, gives the example of the disease of jaundice. When you taste sugar, it's bitter. But the more you taste sugar candy, your disease gets cured, it becomes sweet. So spiritual life is also like that. In the beginning, it's a daunting task, because we're used to hearing what titillates the senses, The libido, everything is all about the agitation of the senses. And the mind directing us. But when you chant the holy names, the mind becomes purified. You experience satiation of the heart. You begin to see your identity, understand it. And if you follow the instruction through following the instruction in association with the spiritual master, the saintly person, then you experience this absolute realization of connection with harmony in doing the will of God. And the more you engage in such practice of devotional service, it's about devotion, it's about love. The more it becomes purified, the more it becomes intense. Because you are following a path that is transcendental and it's based upon the blessing of God, His mercy, His love. Then you make progress. You have life now. You're now indifferent to what's happening. So, there is a story. So when Lord Chaitanya approached his spiritual master, and he said, my spiritual master, what mantra have you given me? Okay? What mantra have you given me? And I experience, I'm as if I cannot stop the chanting. I'm getting mad. I cannot stop thinking of the holy names. And I chant and dance and cry. So I'll read to you here the consciousness of someone who is in the state of transcendence. In the material world, the experience for sensual pleasure in the beginning, it's sweet. But after a while, it becomes bitter. And an analogy is given to us. It's like bubble gum, chewing gum, no more sugar. And it's another form. You squish, you chew it, then after a while you spit it because it's not really satisfying. Okay? So, in his meditation of chanting the holy names, this is the consciousness, his prayer. Oh my Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor I have any desire to enjoy beautiful women. Neither do I want any number of followers of mine. What I want only is that I may have your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth. We are all imprisoned with this consciousness of materialism And the mind is the one who's the decider influencing us. The situation is the lassiter. That's why we experience envy. Envy, jealousy. Because of ignorance, we think this is mine. I want to get it. She has it. They have it. I want that. I want a new car, a new girlfriend, a new relationship. Everybody's envious of one another. I want that. I want that. I want that. So when one comes to the point of realizing the truth, becoming purified, and understanding his true transcendental nature, and experience connection with devotion, doing the will of God, that envy, that lust fades away. And the more you engage in the practice that the spiritual master is instructing us, the more you are into it. The daunting task, the sacrifice and austerity, you carry on. Material life is not like that. In the beginning, you have the drive. You have the energy to do, to enjoy the senses. And after that, after enjoying, it's gone. Yeah? You eat and eat and eat. You have tongue warp. You know what's tongue warp? So kailangan mo, you drink, eat and eat, and then, it tastes like rhapsody. All the tastes are there. Bitter, sweet, hot, everything. And then my stomach is full. My tongue is already, it's like bombarded with all these tastes. So, open happiness. You know? Soda. You know? If one makes progress in spiritual life, this will be the consciousness. Because there's only one spiritual master, Krsna. And he sends his ambassador, his representative, with all the power to represent him. His feeling, his understanding. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment 12 years or more, and tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. I'm feeling all vacant in the world, in the absence of you. So when one begins to chant, becomes purified from this material conditioning, his longing for God, the thoughts in the mind will be transcendental. It will be a longing in connection, in harmony with life. So while we are in this body, the person who succeeds, who is in this state of consciousness, continually carry on the chanting and the meditation is pleasing and doing the will of God. You ask yourself, are you in that state? If you want, you can achieve that. We can achieve the state of the sage, the saintly person. So the demons of today, us, who are under the jurisdiction of material nature, can become devotees of God. We can become devotees of God. What is a devotee then? A devotee is someone who has love for God. And that love increases on and on and on and on. Unlimited, eternal. That is life. That is devotional service. That's why in the face of adversity, birth, death, disease, and knowledge, the suffering of this world, the urge of the senses, the person who is free because he's in a transcendental world of meditation, in meditation, and using his body in harmony with devotional service, karma yoga, he's not touched by this miserable world. That is the state of happiness. Okay? And this is the consciousness of the devotee. I do not know anyone except Krishna as my Lord. And he shall always remain as such, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or he may make me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He's completely free to do anything and everything, but he's always my worshipable Lord unconditionally. So, relationship with God is pure. The loyalty, this trust, the honesty, the determination remains because that is what the living entity, us, can connect in loving devotion to make a stand to do the will of God. And that becomes our life's focus. So the more you chant, the more you begin to experience this connection. And not only that, Krishna manifests. That's why association with devotees is very important. And associating with our instructing spiritual master, like Sukadev Goswami, Maharaj Pariksit, Arjuna, Lord Krsna, the narrative of the lives of the devotee in association with devotees under the guidance of Krishna and the spiritual master, then the thoughts that we hear, the sound we hear is about the transcendental world of Krishna's pastimes. That's why when you chant, you associate with devotees, you'll always be thinking of what you have heard through the narrative of our instructing spiritual master. The killing of Sankasura demon, Lord Chaitanya's saving Jagad and Madai and Lord Nityananda, all the pastimes, it will be now there because the mind is in harmony, directed towards the transcendental world. That is the science that will be the path we are engaging in, and the achievement is pure transcendental meditation and experience of unalloyed devotion to the Supreme Person. We continue, even though in this daunting task, we are sheltered, we have this foundation. But if your foundation, how you use your body, is based upon this temporary moving world, then you're lost. Understand? Now, to give us assurance of how important the holy names, this path. There was once upon a time, in ancient times, a Jamila. He's a Brahmana, and a Brahmana is someone who is supposedly engaging in sacrifice, representing Krishna. And he's honest, he speaks truthfully, he's austere. And one day he was walking and he saw this degraded two lowlife engaging in contact. He just saw it through his senses. He was able to see they're engaging in sexual act. And it stuck in his mind. It contaminated his thoughts. And then he became degraded. Then he stopped practicing, engaging in what will give him connection with the Supreme Person, devotional service. So he lived now a simple life. He felt what you call in born again, backslide. But this is not a backslide. He fell down. He was covered, subjugated by the three modes of material nature. But because of the practice he's doing, which is eternal and transcendental, the chanting of the holy names, and the potency of the holy names, at the time he's leaving the body, he has a son. His name is Narayan, Krishna. And he uttered the name Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. And at the time he's leaving the body, those there are those who decide where we will go at the time we leave this body. Individuals who are serving God, who are given the role, jurisdiction, and in this case, the representative of Yamaraj. So those who will fetch him at the time he'll be leaving the body are the Yamaduts. The Yamaduts, the representative of death. And they're not really, what you see in beauty contests, It's not like that. It's described later. When we have time, you're still here, we'll describe the representative of Lord Yamaraj and the Yamaduts, okay? So what happened, to make it short? They were there to fetch him. To fetch him. And he's so afraid, but he uttered the name Narayan Krishna. Prior to his being degraded, he's a Brahmana. You know, in the spiritual order, Varnashrama Dharma. And due to contact through the senses, the door, the window, his heart got contaminated and he's deluded and fell down and followed the dictates of the modes of material nature, especially the mode of passion. So he engaged in sinful activities, but because he had come in contact with the holy names, the teachings that is transcendental, living knowledge, eternal, and when he uttered the word, the holy names of God, Narayan, Krishna, immediately the representative of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu came and stopped the Yamaduts from fetching him. So he was saved. He was saved and fetched to go back to the kingdom of God. These are the narrative being taught to us to substantiate what is transcendental, the eternal world of devotional service, and the eternal world, the life of the devotee, and also God's compassion and love, unconditional love. So, the path we follow is a path that if we follow it, we focus upon it, we will succeed. Because that is the process, the desire of God, that we succeed. But we have to do the work. We have to engage and experience activities in devotion to be able to direct the mind, that our contemplation through this body, through the senses, directed by the mind, will now be a contemplation with life, our heart, our life, what is inseparable from us. And when we are connected through God's grace to chant the holy names every day, day out, day in, then we're in that world. But all of us should engage in activities, experience it. Like there's water, you know, it's like this. There's a river, a pond, but you have to cross. And you're taught how to swim. So you must learn how to swim so you don't sink there. Okay? So, before I recap, I'll read to you here what state we will be achieving in that state. Just like if we say water. Huh? What is water? Combination of what? And oxygen. Yeah? If you say fire, it's hot. You know? If you say honey, it's sweet. And the flavor is orange flavored honey. Okay? And you taste it, you're gonna taste it. And if you want to experience, to numb your senses, there are also mind-numbing, drugs. You take it, intoxicants, you experience to be in the mode of ignorance. But if you want clarity, there is a process. God, the Supreme Purifier, where there is light, there is no darkness. And what is that darkness? To become free from this material conditioning, understand your true transcendental nature, and with the wisdom that comes from God, we experience ananda or pleasure, the pleasure of the soul. So you experience happiness, and the basis for your protection is your relationship with God. It gives you a higher taste that you're not attracted to this dead world. So, this is what will happen. Okay, Lord Krishna is telling us. Or, he's telling us, a man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad action in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, O Arjuna, which is the art of work. What is good and bad? Karma. You engage in Good activities, good karma. You engage in bad activities, bad karma. Then, to experience that, you will be born in this world. That even those who are practicing, supposedly, we call them materialistic Brahmans. They worship demigods to go to the heavenly planet. So when they leave the body, they'll go to experience heavenly situation. Brahma, an experience of what they're deciding to go into the heavenly planet. So if you do engage in bad activities like killing, raping, killing someone, putting pain to people or anybody else, then you're going to suffer for it. Because there are laws here that we will be subjugated to, the law of karma, okay? The wise engage in devotional service, take refuge in the Lord, and free themselves from the cycle of birth and death by renouncing the fruits of action in the material world. In this way, you can attain the state beyond miseries. So what entangles us? We have become fruitive workers. This body is like a tree. And, we use the senses. And we are in this machine. Whatever the mind dictates us, the desire there, we want to taste the fruits through the senses. The activities we do is in meditation upon this temporary world and through the senses, directed by the mind. So devotional service means to understand our true identity. I'm a different energy from matter, and through the guidance of God, I can use this body in the service of God. The science that is being taught to us, the practice of devotional service. It begins with hearing, chanting, remembering, praying, bowing down to the deity, serving the Lord, surrendering to the Lord. Prior to coming to this stage of consciousness, what are you doing? You're remembering Jessica Soho or Tulpo or, you follow all this networking, Kappa, Alpha, you follow them with the promise of the fruits. What is that fruit? Money. If you have money, you can buy things for your senses. That will be the foundation for your happiness. Understand? It is very clear. Everything is clear. And not only that, the spiritual master, Krsna, and our spiritual master, he's transcendental. He wants us to succeed. Like, you see, when Lord Chaitanya succeeded by following the instruction of his spiritual master, he's in this loving meditation, in separation of Krsna, while chanting the holy names. He's in a transcendental world, the holy names. The spiritual master is very happy for his disciple. He's very happy because God can sustain that happiness because He's the supreme. He's the cause of all causes. He's the source of love. So when a person comes to the point of understanding the truth, Guru means a lover of God. It's not a position of having followers. So when a person is transcendental to these three modes of material nature, he has no material consideration, and his goal is in the state of pure devotional service. When the devotee or you or me comes to the point of making an effort to understand and apply his teaching, he becomes happy. And when I experience this joy of pleasing God through unalloyed pure devotional service, I'm not a fruitive anymore worker, but rather I offer the fruits to God, not me. And because God is the source, it's like watering the root of the tree. It's like giving food to the stomach. It goes to the hand. He understands. You understand now, and he's happy that you are secured. Because spiritual life is now a world that you're in. It's a sustainable, eternal activity of the soul, you, me. And you're in that state, and he becomes happy. There's no envy na, oh, he's making advancement. What about me? Nobody gonna serve me. He's not envious. The more you become, the more you're making progress. He prays for you. He blesses you. That's why it's very important to please the spiritual master. Because the only desire of the spiritual master or Krishna is we make progress towards this pure world of devotional service, unalloyed service to the Lord. And that is the will of God. That should be our focus. Harmony in the service of God through the guidance of the spiritual master and association. So to recap, association, what we do with this body, what we do with these senses, how we direct the mind, and what is our focus today. If you want to make progress, for example, you're in grade 1, you just know 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, 1 minus 1, 3 minus 1. Basic arithmetic. You just know how to write, circle, 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 circle. And then you want to make progress. You listen to your teacher. Okay? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Teach you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then he teach you higher math. He teach you word meanings. And then you learn. Then after a while, you can speak. You can speak the dialect, the language, English language. When you speak, you say something, and the teacher say something to you. The flower, the sampagita flower, is very fragrant. The ambrosial, smell. You can understand. Yes. You remember, magnolia flower or jasmine. So the words has now colors. It has meaning. So when you practice, we apply this process in our life. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We will come to the stage that Lord Chaitanya's mission to come to this world in the mood of Radha and Krishna, and also to invite us to enter that world. It is achievable. That should be our focus, not from anybody who is under the jurisdiction of material nature, who is blind, whose world is the world of ignorance, passion, and goodness, material consideration. He's completely now in this world of purity. That should be our word. Follow the footsteps of the saintly person. Look what have made you come to that point now. What have contaminated you. What drives your mind. What makes you happy. What is your song. What you sing. Is it tick-tock-tack, tick-tock-tack? Or what you hear every day. Isda, isda, isda. Burut, burut, burut. Pirik, pirik, pirik. What is your meditation? So when you make progress in spiritual life, when the mind is not thinking of Krishna, you're in anxiety. Immediately you bring the mind, Krishna, Krishna. But Krishna is so merciful. The holy name is Krishna. Krishna is everything. Spiritual or material. When you chant your life following the spiritual master, then Krishna manifests. You remember Vrindavan. In your mind you can see Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill. Your heart is simply focused upon that world. And when you're not in that world, the mind drives you away. You become agitated. You bring the mind back. And it becomes your life. Then the mind becomes purified. You become master of your senses. You become master of your destiny. And that destiny is the happiness in harmony, serving God. That is what is being given to you as God's mercy and grace. So if you take it, then you succeed, you become free. You'll be experiencing this freedom. Because God is our well-wisher. He wishes you well. He's our eternal friend. He's not someone who will subjugate you with contract. Rather, He gives you this wisdom to be under the shelter of God. Not encumbered by the clutches, the anchor of materialism based upon people's fear. No fear Because the first teaching of Lord Krishna free us from this worry of death. You don't die. You're a different energy from matter. This simple, basic truth, seemingly simple, but it will be the foundation of our life. A transcendental world directed eternally by the guidance of someone who will bestow mercy upon us through his teaching to be engaged and focused upon doing the will of God, who is in control, who is the source of love, our eternal friend, Krishna. Is it clear to you? So you can now assess if you're making progress in your spiritual life. So Haribol, Namaste.
Haribol. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Haribol Nitagore.
Radha Krishna Nayana. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana.
Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasare Gaurmata Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasare Gaurmata Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Paramahamsa Rama, Madana Mohana, Paramahamsa Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Paramahamsa Rama, Madana Mohana, Paramahamsa Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Paramahamsa Rama, Madana Mohana, Paramahamsa Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Paramahamsa Rama, Madana Mohana, Paramahamsa Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Paramahamsa Rama, Madana Mohana, Paramahamsa Rama,
Prabhupada.
Lord Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda.
Lord Krishna,
Ananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda.
Lord Krishna,
Ananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda. Paramahamsa Namine. Gora Karuna Swarupaya. Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo